have to start off with you have to fill me in on this Emmys situation. I had no idea.
Yes, we get nominated different for different things throughout the years, every year, and then I've won two already. And this is another one where we basically did a special on it was the anniversary of Sean Taylor's death. And I know a lot of Redskins fans really loved him and appreciate him. And, it's one of those shows that we can do every year, and you have the same emotions where, myself, former player Chick, who's been doing this for a long time, and Trevor, who played 12 years in the league, we all seem to get, choked up and teary-eyed because, this young man who was maturing and growing and, trying to protect his family, got killed in that process. And, a lot of people on their first initial comments, they said a lot of things I thought was very stupid and disrespectful. And all of a sudden, when they found out the absolute truth, there were those who did come back and apologize and some who never did. And I've lost respect for some of those who were reputable media people and journalists.
Yeah, I bet. I feel like those are the stories that really make what you do obviously worthwhile, especially because you have a personal tie to the game and people like that.
Oh, yeah. And I think when you look at, you look at his impact, Sean came in here, played the amount of years he played, and still today, you hear people still talking about him. I think he was on his way to be one of the best safeties that ever played this game of football. And, his life was cut short. But ultimately, I think a lot of people can learn different things from him. And also, I was just saying, if any football player would approach the game as he did, play the way he played with the passion he did, you can get a lot more out of the game than you think you can.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. What do you think is one of the biggest takeaways, even just, from Sean, I guess, that, people these days can apply to their game?
Well, I would just say Sean go bikes to work. He ran to work. He was always trying to be in the best shape possible. He played the game of football the way it was supposed to be played. I understand a lot of rules have changed in this game, and things are getting a little different and in a sense softer. But still, it's a very, very tough and physical game of football, and I think that's just fair for that. And I think he was ready for it. He always ran full speed, no matter what the situation was. I think if guys go like that, they'll have a lot more positive plays and make good plays than they would bad or negative plays.
Yeah, I love it. So that kind of transitions into what I wanted to talk about a little bit today is, guys just got drafted, contracts are getting signed and finalized. Now they're starting to move into, obviously, training camp, going through OTAs right now, kind of thinking back to your time. Obviously you got drafted, you went through this. What is going through these guys' heads right now, and what should they be focusing on?
To be totally honest with you, a lot of guys think that it's over. And I think that's the bad thing. Guys get drafted and they think it's done. Getting drafted has always been the easy part. Now you must focus your attention on staying in the league. I got drafted in 1990, fifth round, and I went in training camp, and what I did, I would look around and watch the veteran guys, the older guys, and saw how they were approaching it. And I watched Ernest Bynum, North Mark, and Darryl Green. These guys were working as hard as any rookie out there. So that told me that if they're working that hard, then you need to be working twice as hard. So I basically started to imitate what those guys were doing. They'll be out there working out and doing things on one field. I'll be on the other field, not wanting to interrupt them, imitating what they were doing. And it worked out. And Spider one day invited me over, and I remember Coach Gibbs noticed me doing that. And he said, hey, I see what you're doing, and one day they'll invite you over. And I began to do the same thing. A lot of invite rookies over, to my house, talk to them, and make sure they understood that, this is a business now. It's not just a game. You don't have your parents need to wake you up. It's not like you go to class the rest of the day and then you go to practice for a little bit. You have a short meeting. You're going to be there basically 9 to 5. It's a 9 to 5 job. And although it's a lot more fun than a 9 to 5 job, it's still a job. And You have to invest your time and money. And I did that in the offseason, so I can have a lot of fun doing it.
Do you think that's what happens a lot? Because, we see a lot of these first rounders. It happens year after year where they get into the league. They, of course, made a name for themselves in college. Everyone knows them because they were one of the top draft picks. And then it seems like a lot of these guys, we look at their career 3 to 5 years in, and it's, they're not playing. Maybe they're not even in the league anymore. Do you think that's a big part of it, is that, they forget that the easy part is the draft, and once you get there, you have to work?
Well, I think that the biggest problem is the fact that a lot of those first round draft picks were just being in the guys that they played against in college. Okay? If they were picked in the top 10 and things like that, they were very good. But when they get to the NFL, the last guy on the bench could be as good as you. Everybody's a professional at this level. And you can't stay stagnant. You have to improve. And I think that's the one thing. And like, look at the game of basketball with Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was the best basketball player on the court when he stepped out there, but every year he improved one aspect of his game, which made him stay a step ahead of everybody else. And I think if often if college players come into this league when they get here, if they start focusing on just trying to improve one aspect or better one aspect of their game, it'll keep them in that in a proper frame of mind, and also keep them where they need to be when it comes down to talent. If you sit there and you remain the same guy you were when you got drafted, you'll get left behind in second stage. In 3-4 years, they'll be out the league. I was a quarterback when I got drafted. I was drafted, they moved my position. I had to learn a brand new position. And every year I wanted to improve that position. Then I got to the point where I wanted to improve another aspect. They wanted me returning kicks and punts. Then I wanted to show the coach how good I could be blocking, how good I could be a third down back. And they began to use me all over the football field. And Joe Gibbs told me, he said, the more you can do, the longer you can play. So as I tell guys over and over again, don't stay stagnant. Don't be complacent. Always push. And a guy like Art Monk and Darryl Green, those two guys really made me understand that. Starters, guys I looked up to when I was in high school and college. And when I got here playing with them, still watching them every day work harder than anybody out there, made me begin to do the same thing. And it lasted for 14 years.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that's a big part too. The guys forget that you have to keep learning. Obviously, you have to be prepared to take on a new role, be studying that playbook. What advice do you have for guys who come in as one position and then end up getting moved to another?
Well, I think when you're learning the offense, you don't just learn your position, you want to learn multiple positions. Because what happens is, as me being a quarterback in college and high school, I had to learn everybody's position, which enabled me to learn multiple positions a little easier than other guys when I got into the pros. But the thing about it, if you can play slot and you can play running back, you can play the third down back, the coach may say, I need you to line out wide some days. And all of a sudden, the other team thinks it's a totally different play, but you're running the exact same stuff. And I think the more you can do, like you said, the more you can do, the longer you can play. Mm-hmm. And the more you can do, the more effective and the more costly, well, you save them more. Because I remember Coach Gibbs saying, my position saved them from having to have multiple people. So I played kick return, punt return, I covered kicks, I covered punts. I was the backup holder, I was a backup quarterback. So instead of them having to have somebody at all those positions, they had me, which enabled them to go and get guys in positions where you needed more help at.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I've talked to a lot of rookies who have gotten in that locker room after getting drafted. And honestly, one of the biggest culture shocks for them is the fact that everyone isn't, all friends. Everyone's, of course, not hanging out, which is a big transition from college. And I guess what's one of the easiest ways for guys to kind of get acclimated? Because at the end of the day, you have to remember, of course, it's a business. It's no longer mm-hmm. college where everyone's in it for the team and all that. You have to be in it for yourself a little bit. But what's the best way to navigate that when you're getting into a new team, trying to make a name for yourself? Obviously, you want to get in with the older guys. You want to be in with them. But what's the best way to do that?
The best way to do that is knowing your stuff. I mean, if you're a guy who's making mistake after mistake, they're not going to welcome you in. But if you're a guy who's always making the right plays, those veteran guys and guys that are basically figuring they're going to be on the football team, they know you can make the team better. And I think that's the whole thing about it. I would tell guys, don't come in trying to be friends, because when they first get here, there's 90 people here. 90 won't remain. 53 is going to remain. 37 has to go. So once you get that 53, now you're going to see the guys are a little closer knit, because now those 53 guys have that single minded goal of they want to get to the Super Bowl. So you got to depend on each other. But there's going to be a situation once in a while where one guy may be a little jealous of you and may want to give you the wrong information. Don't count on anybody else. You have to count on yourself. And that's the whole thing about it. Like, I use a little analogy most times of a vehicle. Okay? If you have a job to do, like a spark plug, you have to be the best spark plug you can be. You can't sit up there and start being a spark plug and start automatically trying to be the accelerator. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the guys have to be the best person they can be and to be the best at their position, know their stuff without making mistakes, and I think that'll allow them to where they'll see that guys will begin to welcome them in. That's where when I returned the kick at my first preseason game in my rookie year, the veterans started to invite me to come different places with them, which made me feel like, hey, they see something in me. I didn't want to let them down the next day, so I wanted to make sure that night, instead of going out, I sat there, studied my playbook, and the next day I made another play. Keep trying to make plays, because they don't care about what you say, they care about what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. That's awesome advice. Well, I don't want to keep you. I know you have something, so I definitely appreciate it. Thanks for the insight.
All right, take care.
Okay, talk to you. Bye.
All right, bye.